So, just got home from work. Didn't even get a chance to take my shoes off yet. And I'm gonna do this video talking about, last night I was at work and I see, a lot of people posting on Twitter and on Instagram, showing all the clips of all these different migrants in different areas. And forgive the squeaky chair. And everybody says, oh, such and such, UK we're being invaded, Italy we're being invaded, America we're being invaded. And it's sad because if most of these people that were coming into the country were white Europeans, nobody would be saying anything. No one would be saying, oh, we're being invaded by military-aged men. They would be completely okay with it. It's only because the people are poor and they're black and they're brown that they have a problem. And they're socialists and they're greedy. And so when the government needs to bring people into the country, because you hear even Elon Musk is talking about this, talking about the demographics, that there are just not enough people. Right? There's not enough people to keep up with the welfare state. And so they need to bring in workers because overwhelmingly white women are not having enough children. 51% of all births in America are Latino. And so people wonder why the government is doing what they're doing. Now, obviously, because they need people. They need people to work. Everywhere I go, I travel from state to state to state. And in a lot of the different businesses and restaurants, they all say the same thing. We can't find people to work. The people don't want to work. And so the inflation, of course, is going to go higher and higher. Just look, recently we had the UPS workers that went on strike for more money. You have all of the automotive industry. All those people are going on strike because they want more money. The nurses in New Jersey are now going on strike because they want more money. And what will happen? Manufacturing for automotives will go overseas because it will just become too expensive to pay Americans. And this is why Ford is saying we can't compete because the manufacturing costs are too high because of the inflation, because of the high standard of living, and because not enough Americans are working. There are over 7 million working age men in America that are not participating in the labor market. Whatever it is that they're doing, they're not producing any goods and they're not producing any services. And so the country needs men to go to work so that the government can tax them to pay for the entitlements. And so by bringing all of these individuals into the country, of course, it will help lower when you own a business, you'll understand that the most expensive part of owning a business is labor. And so as more of these low skilled individuals will come into the country, it will help drive down the cost of labor within the country. And they'll be able to fill many of these jobs that they couldn't otherwise fill because you have so many entitled Americans that just don't want to work. They're sitting there with a handout waiting for the government. That's why you see many of these people want to bring the pandemic back, because they want that stimulus money. They don't want to work. And so what do you do when you have such an entitled people? The government can't just print all of this money and give it to the people. It'll cause inflation. And then you'll end up with shortages, which is what we already have now as a nurse. There's every state I go to, there are shortages. And so the cost of labor moves higher and higher and higher. Right now, you're paying a nurse is what? $3,500, $4,000, $4,500 a week, out earning doctors. But it is what it is. And the people have become so entitled because of generations of socialism. And like I said before, the route that the country is going, it will just end up in communism. When people don't want to hold the dollar for whatever reason, what what is America going to buy? How are they going to fill the trade deficit? It's over a trillion. It's over $1 trillion that the government has to print. 40% of the GDP is by the government. 40% of GDP is money that is spent by the US government. And it's only going to continue to go higher because Americans don't want to take out any, they're not taking out any debt. That money is not going overseas. And so more of it ends up staying here because of the increase in necessity for services, especially when it comes to healthcare. And so that drives inflation higher. It drives inflation higher, especially when they can't produce here at a cheap enough rate. So they have to bring people in. Europe, unfortunately, can only pull from Muslim countries, so they're kind of assed out. But at the very least, America can pull from the southern border from places like Mexico, Honduras, El Salvador, etc. And these people want to work. These people come here to work. And of course, Americans get upset and they say, oh, this, they're giving them handouts. It's like, motherfucker, you getting handouts. Over 63% of all Americans pay zero in taxes. Yes, I know you pay taxes, you pay a little bit here, you pay a little bit there. Overall, what you get from the government is more than what you put in. And you can look that up, just Google it. A very simple Google search will show that. Over 63%, and that statistic was pre-pandemic. So it's probably even worse now. Because you have my child tax credit, you need to pay for my education, you need to lower the cost of insulin, you need to give us more money, cost of living, especially for the boomers that live on fixed income. What are you going to do? What's the country going to do? It's only going to get worse. And then you're going to see a huge divide between the rich and the poor. And you'll see the poor will get some form of universal basic income, or they'll get some form of basic income so that they can buy goods, but they might not have work. Because America is a consumer economy. America has to consume so that those dollars go overseas, so that the dollar remains relevant. If the people overseas can't get dollars from you consuming, then they won't need the dollar. They'll go elsewhere. Someone else will step in. And then it'll be less and less that you'll be able to buy. And then you'll really see your inflation. And then the people will fall into abstract poverty. So the government is doing what they can. The government is doing what they can. The people won't let them cut services. They talk about this all the time. Republicans are pushing, well, we need to lower Medicare. We need to lower Social Security. And of course, the Democrats are like, look what they're doing. And the people are like, yeah, they're trying to steal from it. What are you going to do? The people are just too entitled. Anyway, time to get ready for bed. Just my early morning rant. If you're looking to get ahead, the best thing you can do is get skilled and be somewhat diversified and be willing to move. Don't even bother worrying about a relationship. And in the States, there's no point. Do that overseas. If you're a skilled individual, if you're a man who's looking to do good for himself, don't even bother dating an American woman. It will just anchor you down into poverty. And the women will only get worse. The women will only get more in debt. It is the trajectory that the country is on. That's why they said by 2030, you have over 40%, 45% of American women will be single and childless. It is what it is. It is what it is. Anyway, I'm going to get ready for bed. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.